holds an important place in the study of biology, not only because it's important to know how to protect yourself from catching the disease, but also because its discovery heralded in a new way of studying diseases, their symptoms and the subsequent treatment. In this modern world, it's hard to think that not so long ago, doctors thought that diseases were spread by bad smells and that by wearing a mask like this, stuffed with lavender, could prevent you catching diseases. This is the story of cholera. Let's start by looking at what cholera is. Cholera is a disease caused by a bacteria called Vibrio cholerae. This bacterium, like all bacteria, is a microorganism. It's easy to see with a light microscope, but impossible to see with the naked eye, yet it can cause serious illness and even death. Once the bacteria is ingested, it spreads through the entire digestive system. It produces toxins in the small intestine, which cause chloride ions to be secreted. This causes the osmotic movement of water into the gut. This can lead to dehydration, diarrhea, vomiting, and loss of vital salts from the body. You'll start exhibiting symptoms within a few hours, and they can last for up to 5 days. The attack can be mild, serious, or even life-threatening. Symptoms of cholera include rapid heart rate, dehydration, dry mucous membranes in the eyes, nose and mouth, loss of skin elasticity, and in some cases dehydration can lead to shock and death. It's hard to believe that cholera was such a huge cause of death. I think now might be a good time to tell them about Jon Snow. In 1854, there was an outbreak of cholera. Germs hadn't been discovered yet, so people blamed it on bad air. Jon Snow decided to look at the evidence and talk to the local people to find out what was happening. He discovered that people drinking from the local water pump on Broad Street were dying. This is a water pump in Surrey, much like the Victorian one on Broad Street. The local people would have come here to pump their water. The pump drew water from a local well, but what they didn't know was it was contaminated by sewage containing the deadly cholera bacteria. The people at the local brewery weren't dying though, because they drank beer made of boiled water, and they drew their water from a different pump, which wasn't contaminated with the bacteria. As soon as Jon Snow realised the source of the illness and subsequent deaths, he arranged for the authorities to remove the pump handle so the pump could not be used. People had to use a different pump and there was a decline in the number of deaths. This was the first time analysis of data had been used to find out what caused an illness. However, Jon Snow's theory was not believed, and a short while later, the handle was returned to the pump. Nobody would believe that the drinking water was contaminated with faeces, could possibly cause cholera and lead to death. In 1866, William Farr, one of Snow's opponents, realised the validity of Jon Snow's research when investigating a further outbreak of cholera in Bromley by Bow. We now know that Jon Snow's theory was right. In 1850, Snow became a founding member of the Epidemiological Society of London. He was one of the first physicians to use chloroform as an anaesthetic and administered it to Queen Victoria on 2 separate occasions. So we know the history of cholera and the symptoms, but what about the cure? That's interesting. There is a vaccine you can take, but the World Health Organization doesn't suggest it because it only works in about half the cases and doesn't last very long. Basically, it just gives you a false sense of security. They suggest drinking lots of clean, fresh water, but the best method is prevention. Yes, prevention. Only drink boiled, sterile water and only use boiled, sterile water to make ice cubes. Don't forget boiled, sterile water for brushing your teeth and cooking and cleaning. Also avoid uncooked meat and fish and unpasteurised dairy products. All of this is sound advice, especially if you're travelling to places like Latin America, East Asia and some parts of Africa, or anywhere where the water quality is questionable. We hope that now you know more about cholera and its discovery, but also you know to always drink clean water. This is Science Rocks.